Put tomato sauce on it. Someone take a photo.
And if you care to join in, now is your chance to win the tickets. Pick those tickets to be lucky. That's all you need to do today. Pick them out and join with the top again. Pick those tickets. What's your name, young man? And what prize would you like, Cameron? You'd like one of those giant Winnie the Poohs? There you go, for a joke, mate. Joke is one. That's what you're looking for today, ladies. Pick those tickets to be lucky. One win takes you a simple prize.
We were smelling.
We want you to join in, we want you to be a winner here today with Animal Kingdom. Just book your ticket and win your prize. It's 15 tickets, 4 to 5.
in the war when you cannot stop a production line. About 18 months while you introduce a new airplane. You run out of airplanes. That's why you think about it. You have to and yeah, they are one of the
Jaguar landing. The fabulous after this day, that will be back here in a couple of weeks' time. So if you're interested in a flight over London, £39.99.
So the Albatross is now airborne. And Douglas James showing the BMW's turn of speed. Now he hasn't got a brake parachute. So once the Albatross has turned around and the BMW have turned around, coming in for his first attack run. I think he still had his guns on safe there. So coming in now for another attacking run, and you can see the missiles have gone off. The explosion seemed to have sent the BMW askew, but it looks like it's still upright. And James lives to fight another day. But then, when doesn't he? And a handbrake turn from James there. I think at the end of this sequence of turns by the BMW, there'll be 4 only slightly used BMW tyres for sale. Whoa, the car's really spinning. He always knows when the explosion goes off right next to him because he can't hear in his right ear for another 2 minutes or so afterwards. Association demonstrating his driving skills, which are used to good effect to weave in and out of the exploding rockets there on the runway. And he's driving backwards to Christmas now. Let's see how he gets out of that. There we go, neat handbrake turn. Well, it looks as if James has survived unscathed. Just about misses the cameraman there on the operational readiness platform. As with all the stunts, of course, you'll see done here today, all of them done professionally to within an appropriate inch. So James is now, having evaded the Albatross, he's now going to drive up and down the crowd line to give you the chance to get a photograph of him in the aircraft. I just saw him brandishing his weapon. Fortunately, it's just a Walter PPK. And he's going to drive right along. Well, as James completes his procession along the craft, which underneath all its camouflage, which was actually put on especially for the James Bond film, Tomorrow Never Dies, being flown by Taft Smith. Manufactured by Aero Vodotchody in the Czech Republic, 16.
People who are crowd controlling for us, and there are 2 sets of rope barriers in front of the general area of the grandstand, and the theory is that public are behind the second. So if you would be very kind and come back behind them, that would be very nice. And in the meantime, our Nimrod has arrived. The mighty Hunter mighty before the Lord, I think it was. Back in the late 1950s, the air staff were looking for a replacement for the rather aging Maritime Reconnaissance Shackleton, and they held trials in 1964, Trident, Comet, Vanguard and VC-10, to see if any of them were suitable for maritime recce and anti-submarine warfare. And the Comet 4C, for which Hawke City had already put forward a proposal for an airframe based on the Comet, and the extra keel area needed a larger fin and rudder with a dorsal extension, so they got that. And the inside was crammed with electronic gear of one sort or another, of course, for its new role. type ASV radar, or was in the original ones, as I'm always saying. And into the external fuel tank went a 70 million candle power searchlight, which is quite bright. And the undercarriage, of course, has beefed up quite a lot of then some to take care of all this. Later on, further extensions were on the back. The first Nimrod was actually the last Comet 4C to come off the production line. And it flew in 1967. 38 were ordered for the Air Force. First one flew a year later, and it entered service at the Operational Training Unit at St Morgan in 1969. So it's had a good long service from then. All 38 were in service by the end of 72. 8 more were ordered a couple of years later. 3 of them became the ill-fated AEW Mark III, though not through any fault of the airframe, and ventral aerials. And on top of that, if you want to know, on the aerials for IFF, ADF, VHF, UHF, NORAD and HF.
And on the near side, the Swordfish, affectionately nicknamed the String Bag. And I think the Sea Harrier, or the Harrier itself, are the only types of jet aircraft that can actually formate with the Swordfish. So now, in from the left, the Sea Harrier, FA2, flown by Lieutenant Adrian Orchard. What we'll see here today is a demonstration of the unique capabilities of the VSTOL aircraft, standing for vertical and short takeoff and landing. So to start with, we'll see the aircraft being operated as a normal fixed-wing aircraft, to shoot down any attacking aircraft before they can get close enough to attack the fleet. And you'll have an aircraft carrier with a number of Sea Harriers. You can set up a very defensible position. And even F-16 pilots, who of course believe that their aircraft is the premier air-to-air combat platform, have found themselves being on the wrong end of the Sea Harrier during some of the exercises that are flown between the two different areas. characteristics of the V-Stol Harrier. Coming down now, the undercarriage is lowered, and he'll come in from the left to decelerate once again to the hover. He'll then reverse the aircraft whilst airborne, naturally.
It belonged to the historical branch of the Air Ministry in those days, and gradually they managed to get a lot of the bits together. There were some of the magnesium bits on the engine which were badly corroded, and which he could not get replaced, but they got within a spitting distance of getting it airworthy again. Jeff had it repainted in Europe. Colours, there go the 9 and the 11. There's a rumour countering the rumour that this was going to be its last space season. I think we have a chance, have we not, Pete, that it may be flying next year. I don't know what the latest is on that, to be honest.
I haven't heard confirmation of that, but
no.
Obviously all hope that I guess the fact that the Air Vice Marshal's flying it at the moment does give us some.
Well, that probably at that altitude, at over 400 miles an hour. Through over 40 PR missions. That was the Rolls-Royce one going out, not Nigel Lamb.
All right.
So Pete got it wrong again.
Oh well, that just shows how
Scotland is steward.
And in fact, we got the
From the Red Arrows has just come in and has told me that that's what it was.
We got the Battle of Britain Memorial flight in from the left, John. So I believe you're going to tell us about them.
Indeed, as if they need talking about. Harlequin, the solitary Harlequin with them at the moment, Lancaster and the Spitfire 19. I think that's the one made up in Fort Town, dark earth and stone, which were employed in the Middle East by fighters. And lastly, the Lancaster. Engine bombers doing the appalling Heinkel 177, which never got anywhere. But the Junkers, the Junkers 90 transport was developed up to the Junkers 290, which was a 4-engine bomber. And on more than one occasion, they flew across the Atlantic during the war and did reconnaissance flights along the eastern seaboard of America. Very few people know that. Lancaster there displaying that gigantic bomb bay, which was part of the cause of its success. It was the other really heavy damage. 10 Victoria Crosses were gained on Lancasters. The 1st Scotland and Nettleton of 44 Squadron won a very deserved cross for leading and surviving a daylight raid on Augsburg in southern Germany, which was their thinking of. Wing Commander Gibson, of course, was 6 cut in half by a bomb from another Lanc above him. And he survived that and became a POW. Came back after the war. Is now happily farming cattle in Scotland. The great group, eventually Group Captain Cheshire, Wing Commander when he got the 617 Squadron, also got a VC. One can Canadian and one South African VC on Lancasters.
The interesting thing, of course, is that the 37-litre Griffon engine of the Spitfire will be working very hard, whereas the Hawks will actually be throttled back. So what Squadron Leader Day said is that we should be treated to the unusual spectacle of seeing the Hawks outnumbering the Spitfire 9-1, but you should be able to hear the Spitfire engine above the noise of the Hawks, so that should be interesting. The Red Arrows will have their smoke on, and Paul said that he's briefed the Red Arrows that if they see his aircraft smoking, please do let him know. So the Red Arrows are flying in from stance display, and I'll hand over to the team manager, Squadron Leader Mike Williams, at that point, and he'll tell you about, he'll talk you through their display. Meanwhile, it's the Lancaster completing its landing run, with my old Air Force mate Mike Chatterton at the controls. And I use old in the literal sense.
Reformed after the fly past into 9 Arrow now, the aircraft turn left and change into our signature formation, the Diamond. Here they go now. Settling into Diamond at the tip is the leader, Red 1, Squadron Leader Simon Mead. Simon is in. Right is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Ian Smith. Ian's unusual. Repositioning now off to your right hand side, they will approach and pull up, rolling the aircraft for the EFA or Eurofighter roll.
And roll.
Red Arrow's pilot is a volunteer and will have done at least 6 years flying Royal Air Force fighter or bomber aircraft before he's accepted Apollo Bend.
Oh, still cold in the face. Yeah, tight.
Keep your eyes on the aircraft now as the formation changes into flanker, in celebration of the Russian aircraft of that name. Right at the back of the formation now, representing the two large Russian engines, are Reds 8 and 9.
Switch it off.
More accelerating cars towards each other. They approach for the opposition barrel. Away for the carousel. Again, the 1997 Red Arrows.
Of this size, flying so low. I have heard that Biggin Hill does look like Gatwick Airport from the air. What an impressive aeroplane.